Bunch of abilities on the stack. Graveyards get exiled. D-Man, he's going to draw 4 cards. Gonna be some milling, some exiling, some putting counters. Ooh, the board wipe is back. Watch out for the board wipe.
Today on Commander Replay, we check out the newest Elder Dragon, Piru the Volatile, and see if we can blow all of our opponent's creatures away. Next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below.
Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Piru the Volatile today. Take a look at this opener. Oh, man. This would be cool if we had just a couple more lands. 3 lands, and this would be a sweet hand, but I think we got a mulligan that into... This is fine. As long as we catch a 3rd land, we're on Chromatic Lantern, then we're on Thran Dynamo. If we run out of stuff, Wheel of Fortune, we'll keep this. Wheel of Fortune a little bit awkward since we don't want to give up on Repercussion or Necromancy, so we'll have to think about that. We do have a few ways to get them back. Cavalier of Dawn is the big one. Probably need to put a Hall of Heliod's Generosity in the deck now that I'm thinking about it. We'll just do that right now so I don't forget. Get that in, we'll square it away later on. Yeah, so I just finished building this deck, and it's an interesting card because it does something really cool, which I guess we'll read through right now. So it's 8 mana for a 7/7 flying lifelink. It's an Elder Dragon. You have to pay Mardu at the beginning of your upkeep and sacrifice it. So it's got the templating of the original Elder Dragons. And it says, when it dies, it deals 7 damage to each non-legendary creature. Really cool ability. I just wasn't exactly sure what direction I wanted things to go in when I put this deck together. I kind of settled on the Boros Reckoner theme, but I think there's a lot more potential to be explored here beyond just trying to land a Stuffy Doll or a Brash Taunter and do that whole thing. Because it's Mardu, you could easily build a combat deck out of this and focus a little bit more on that. You could focus a little bit more on the burn. Another thing you can do is you could use Piru as like creature control and then use any of the good Mardu combos to actually finish the game, like Exquisite Blood, Sanguine Bond, or Ether Flux, Bolas' Citadel, or something like that. If you wanted to be a combo deck with it. So, you know, it's actually a little bit wide open, and just kind of looking at it quickly, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with it right off the bat. We seem to be drawing like entirely 5 drops. It's not ideal. Nothing to do on 2 mana right here, but let's see. Do we crack this fetch? We've drawn 2 not lands, so let's hope this next card is a land. Otherwise, things might get a little rough. Now, we do have a lot of reanimate spells in the deck because those will obviously be good with our commander, but if we can find either our own or someone else's Burnished Heart or Solemn Simulacrum, that can get us caught up on lands should we fall behind, which I'm starting to get a little bit nervous about. Opponent's got some stuff going on while I was talking, so D-Manny's got himself a Phyrexian Arena. He'll draw some cards as the turns wear on. Mango's got a Machias in play and an Avacyn. And Avacyn's Pilgrim in play, and it looks like he's piloting Shalai, Voice of Plenty. D-Manny is piloting Ghen, Arcanum Weaver. It's going to be the Mardu Enchantress commander. And then finally, we've got Fish Said Fish piloting Toski, Bearer of Secrets. We'll take a peek at this one. They're going to cast their commander right now. So that's Toski coming into play. 4 mana, 1/1, can't be countered, indestructible, attacks each combat if able. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. That's a pretty powerful ability. I've seen it show up in some other decks once or twice, and that's just a lot of card draw. It's a little frustrating that they keep giving that effect to green when green already has card draw in so many other ways, when like that could very clearly be like a white effect or a Boros effect, something like that. One of the colors that really cares about combat could definitely use that effect more than green could. Anyway, that brings it back to our turn. There's a Badlands, finally that 3rd land we were talking about. Did catch that. Opponent did get an Evolutionary Leap into play, by the way, before they passed, so want to be careful of that one. But with that, play that Badlands. Oh, we need to crack a land. Crack this Marshflats. What do we have? Any double colors in hand? We got a triple red. We might want to think about that. I think I'm going to go for Plateau. Let's take a Plateau. Play the Chromatic Lantern. Nothing on 1 mana, so we'll tap out and pass. Excellent. Not getting punished. I would really like to make our next land drop also. I don't know if we'll be as fortunate on that one. Phyrexian Arena trigger for opponent. Another thing I looked at doing was kind of like an indestructible theme with Piru. You could also just run a lot of legendary creatures. That's another way to go about it. But I did quickly look at like maybe doing like a Gods Tribal kind of thing, Mardu Gods. And, you know, they're all indestructible. So also Piru gives you a ton of devotion. So that's cool too if you're playing a 2-color god. That might be a cool way to go with this deck actually. I've played a few different Reckoner decks over the years now, and, you know, having done it a few times, they're not the most exciting to me. Like, Repercussion is an insanely strong card that easily wins games. If we get this down and fire a thing off, we'll probably win the game. So I don't find those the most exciting. God Tribal might be a fun way to take this, because for a long time I had thought about doing like a 3-color Gods Tribal thing, and actually trying to make it good, because I've seen a lot of like bad 5-color Gods Tribal decks over the years. Now, recently, with things like Asika and a few other like 5-color cheat stuff into play type commanders, I think God Tribal has gotten a little bit better. But, you know, going back maybe 3 or so years, God Tribal was definitely a little bit spotty. It was very slow to get going, and if you could pick off whatever's giving them the devotion to turn them into creatures, you'd probably be in pretty good shape. But 5-color God Tribal has picked up a little bit with things like Asika and some other stuff. But anyway, yeah, I think that might be an interesting way to take Piru. We'll have to take a look at that in another video at some point, because now I'm kind of excited about it. Had a funny statistic come up the other day. I was talking to Patreon supporter Matt, and we were kind of talking about like win-loss percentages and stuff like that. And he said to me, yeah, games between us are like 50-50. You've won a decent number, I've won a decent number. But the interesting part that he said is that I only beat you with green decks. And suddenly it all became so clear that, like, if I'm going to lose to something, it's probably going to be a green deck, because the type of things you need to stop a good green deck are usually fairly salt-inducing, because it involves stopping lots of mana production or stopping someone from drawing a lot of cards. Off the top of my head, the 2 easiest ways to do that are Winter Orb and Sire of Insanity, and no one really wants to face those. So that has made me soft to green decks over the years. But yeah, I don't know, it was just a funny thing that we were talking about yesterday. Anyway, we're going to get that Thran Dynamo in. Did not hit that land, still hitting all the 5-drops. But as long as our artifacts hold up, we can start getting some stuff into play next turn, which will be ideal. Yep, there's that. So we'll just tap this thing out also. One got another enchantment in last turn. That was Timuret's Call. Mill 3 cards, and you may exile a creature enchantment if you do make a 2/2 zombie. And on the last mode, it'll say you gain X life, scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. Opponent will draw another card with their Phyrexian Arena. Yep. Last turn, opponent did get a Nissa Who Shakes the World into play, so their forest tapped for double, and that's no joke. Hopefully Mango has the good sense to attack that and try to get it out of play. Phyrexian Scriptures. Mode 2 is destroy all non-artifact creatures, so our only creature that we can play currently is Stuffy Doll. It has Indestructible, fortunately. Also, it doesn't destroy artifacts. Does exile graveyards. That's always fun. Interesting card. Do you want to wait a turn to blow up all the creatures? It's a question. Things get weird when opponents can see it coming, especially now with like Teferi's protection, and they've printed a lot of protection spells the last couple years, and protection spells are some of the better things you can be doing in white. When you look at things that you get in a color that you really don't get in other colors, protection spells are the main one, excluding Heroic Intervention, which is super annoying. But yeah, one of the things white's actually really good at is protection spells, and yeah, if opponents can see something like this coming, they can easily leave the mana up. Not to say that it's bad, obviously in the Ghen deck it makes sense, but my main point is that the element of surprise is a big deal in Commander. You take that away and cards can become much less effective. Yep, opponent can attack into that Planeswalker. It's not going to kill it though, it's at 6 loyalty. It'll chip it down, but opponent's probably going to get some pretty good mana for a turn. Although they only have 2 forests, so it's not out of hand yet. They do have some like other mana production going on though. Got a Nykthos in play. Opponent exiled an Outlaw's Merriment. Oh, that was for the zombie token. Yep. They milled an Agent of Erebos. Yeah, that's a nasty card. Liliana's Contract. Feed the Swarm. Yeah, opponent getting some mana. The Nykthos already doing work. I mean, I guess we could just route. That's a thing that we could do. There's a Beastmaster Ascension. Those are good. Ideally, we'll catch a land off the top, because then we can play a 5-drop and a 3-drop. This thing indestructible? That thing's indestructible also. Actually, no, there's no reason to play board wipe, because this thing's going to blow up. So probably on Stuffy Doll this turn, if we can get another mana, Stuffy Doll Repercussion. Repercussion will probably draw removal, though, if opponents know what's good for them. Keeping a Repercussion in play is bad news. Opponent going to do some attacking with the Tranquil Thicket. Going to send a couple our way. Doesn't look like it's going to be too much damage. This is going to put 4 counters on the Beastmaster Ascension, though. And that's a real magic card. That's one that'll get you killed. Maybe Repercussion Stuffy Doll isn't such a great idea now that I'm thinking about it. Whenever a creature is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to the creature's controller. Yeah, we'll want to be careful with that, I think. Yeah, we're gonna take a hit right here, but so is opponent. More importantly, opponent's gonna draw a bunch of cards off of this. Yep, there's 4 card draws. No big deal. Green deck, getting to draw all the cards. There's the land that they've been missing. There's a 3 visits, so next turn. Yeah, we'd really like to deal with that Nissa who shakes the world, because now they've got lands and they've got cards, so that's a lot of mana production. Gets a gingerbread cabin. Create a food token. Tribe Elder. Yep. More mana production. Cracks the food. Gains 3 life. There's a treasure nabber. Not so many mana rocks in play, so we'll just hang on to that. Let's cast the Stuffy Doll. D-Manny says, oof. Well, you don't have to worry because I'm choosing Fish right now. Fish has the most going on by a significant amount. Importantly, it's also an indestructible blocker for us, which I also like. D-Manny's going to Ghost Quarter his Dakmor Salvage, trying to get some mana going. I mean, that's not an awful play because they can dredge it back to get another land. I've seen worse. I think he's also trying to load up his graveyard. Probably what he's after. Or he really needs a second white. One of the two. There's the Arena trigger. Yep. Destroy all non-artifact creatures. And you gain X life, where X is the number of zombies. Mango's got to play. He's going to Unbreakable Formation. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, when you can see it coming, it's much different. Now, this is a good thing because we need someone to kill the Nissa who shakes the world. Though, I would prefer, I would have preferred if he could have protected, a single creature. You know, leave just enough stuff alive to kill the Nissa, because now he's going to have a bunch of things in play, and he's probably going to rocket ahead a little bit, so I guess we do have the route for whenever that happens. Also, our commander's a board wipe on a stick, so I guess those are things also, but... Crop rotation. Going to sacrifice to their Evolutionary Leap, also a good idea. What'd they reveal? A Kamal Heart of Krosa, no big deal. We'll want to keep that route on hand. Evolutionary Leaps again. This time for a Scoot Swarm, also disgusting. And finally cracks their Tribe Elder. Yeah, Fish is so far ahead right now. Step 1 is Mango needs to attack this Nissa and get rid of that thing. Step 2 is probably dealing with his Beastmaster Ascension. Step 3 is worrying about the Kamal in hand. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game. I think Fish might be the arch enemy this game. Ooh, a Soul Ring, nice. That's gonna be great for our Treasure Nabber. I was hoping that Mana Rock would come down at some point, because we don't seem to be drawing lands. This Treasure Nabber is about the only way we're going to get more mana production with our current hand. Volakut Exploration, yeah, that's a card that I haven't looked at as much as I would have liked, honestly. It's been a crazy 2 years, with product coming out what seems like every month. It is really difficult to test new cards. So they printed a new Wheel in Red in Wheel of Misfortune. They've also printed stuff like Showdown of the Scalds. I've been really digging Ignite the Future and some of that type of stuff, which puts me into a place of not needing to use Volakut Exploration as badly. But it's still one that I'd like to try at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it. Testing cards in the 99 is also horrendous, because you don't know how many games you need to play in order for that card to show up, and more importantly, for that card to show up at a time that, isn't truly awful. If it's late in the game and you just need the board wipe, a Volakut Exploration isn't really where you want to be. I've had some of that stuff come up, too, with cards that I've tried to test where, if it's in your opener and it's there for when you need it, then it's cool, but, top decking it on turn 10 might not always be the best, so, yep. Some of the struggles of doing content and trying to test cards in the 99. It's kind of a headache, honestly. Anyway, that board wipe goes off. Mango still has all his stuff. Pretty good place to be. Hopefully take Fish down a peg at least by getting rid of the mana doubling. They can still rebuild quite a bit afterwards, though. That's a Bastry's Lieutenant. Cool card. Looks like we got a green-white +1/+1 counter theme going with Shalai over there. Mango likes his green-white decks. He's got a bunch of them. Puts a counter on the Machias. That's fun. Tap Machias, pump the team. Yep. Can attack with Shalai into the Nissa. Certainly support that. Nissa goes down, so the mana doubling is gone, thankfully, but it is a green deck, so it'll probably be back very soon. Here comes that Scoot Swarm. Landfall. Duplicant. That's probably going to hit our Stuffy Doll. Yeah, they're going to exile the Stuffy Doll. That is unfortunate. If we catch a land, we could go Route Treasure Nabber. If we don't catch a land, I might just instant speed Route. What's D-Manny got in his graveyard, by the way? Any creatures that we can necromancy that, really looking for a Solemn Simulacrum or something. There's a Tribe Elder over there. Is that worth it? I don't know. Here comes a Toski. Yep. We take a hit for 1. They draw another card. Come on, land. Dismantling Wave is not a land. It's not completely useless, though. So there's that. Instant speed Route, then? Yeah, I think that's the play. Slow this game down. The, Duplicant becomes an 0-1 because of Stuffy Doll. Got him. Resurgent Belief in Suspend. What? It's a new one out of Modern Horizons 2. Has Suspend 2, pay 1 and a white. Return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Oh, it's that one. Yeah, that seems good. Exile all cards from all opponents' graveyards, so that's going to shut off our necromancy plans. How bad do we want that Sakura? Kind of want it, honestly. Yeah, I think we just let this go. Oh, we should have... Well, yeah. If we had routed in response to that, it would have exiled more stuff. Crap. Although, if we route at, like, Fish's end step, that's also... That's a lot of value, just that you have to worry about things coming back later. Enlightened Tutor. Bajuka Bog off the top would be, like, reasonable. There's Ghen Arcanum Weaver coming in. Yep. See what Mango wants to do right here. Probably his last chance to really get into Fish on the ground before the Scoot Swarms take over. He's just going to go in the air with Shalai. That's fair. There's a lot of lands in this deck, too. 36 lands and a couple flip lands, so probably about 38 in the deck. Shouldn't be having this much mana trouble. If our Lantern or Thran Dynamo go down, it's basically over. D-Manny says, remember what PJ says in his videos. When in doubt, attack Mango, which is what he's suggesting for Fish this turn. It's a reasonable play. Yep, landfall, more Scoot Swarms. If they just go for like a value attack, which they might, because these are all 1/1s, we're probably going to be on that route. Also, this is going to become a thing, so we got to see what they're going to do right here. Fish making a lot of mana. Oh, that's a Kamal. Well, it's a good thing we're sitting on a route. Joel Rail coming into play. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2. Mango's got feelings. It's going to beast within the Kamal. That's fair. If this were a paper game, I'd probably say, like, hold on to that. I've got a plan. But I'm not super active in the chat for this particular game, so... Still should be a really good route, though. Fish is starting to slow down on cards. A lot of them are in play, so we can clean up some stuff with the route. They'll still have some things going. It's not going to be a complete wipe. Evolutionary Leap is pretty good, honestly. One thing to think about is that, like, if we can hold on to this Dismantling Wave, this might be handy against D-Manny. This is instant speed, destroy all enchantments, which could be a thing that we need to do. Fish sending a bunch of stuff in the... Oh, right, there's going to be a Beastmaster Ascension. Curious to see how he handles this, because I don't think he'll just take all that damage. He'll probably jump block a bunch. Mango's got something. White Sun Zenith, X2. Okay. Let's see how he wants to block. He's going to block 3. No, he's going to block 4. Okay. Yeah, he's going to block everything. See if we can get Fish to use the last of their mana so that they can't Evolutionary Leap in response to the route. They're going to pump with Mikaeus. Bastries' Lieutenant is going to trigger. They'll get some 2/2s. I'm going to make a calculated decision here. I think we give Mango the 2/2s because it'll allow him to attack Fish. Like, we're so far away from doing anything impactful that, you know, we need to put some pressure on Fish because they have some really good pieces in play. They're set up to do a lot. So, yeah, he said he's working on Fish. Not really looking our direction, so we're going to play this route. And, yep, here comes the Evolutionary Leap. Ooh. Turn Timber Symbiosis, Rexage. Oh, Rexage could be bad. Rexage could be real bad. Mango gets a lot of 2/2s. D-Manny saying I love route. Yeah, me too. I love route. That was a card that I didn't play for like probably the first 3 years of this channel, and then I stumbled onto it for one reason or another, and I'm like, oh my god, what? It's an instant speed board wipe. It's so good. But I like the fact that you can still pay 5 if you're just like, yeah, I just need to wipe the board right now. Don't want to spend the extra mana to do it. In our case, we don't have anything happening, so do it instant speed and try to clean out as many things as you can. We've set the board up in a more favorable way, kind of. Mango's got some power and can like do something about Fish, hopefully. There's a Boros Signet. We need that. Let's cast the Boros Signet. Cast the Treasure Nabber. And I think I'm just... do we just wheel? I think we just wheel because we're not drawing lands. Like, we have to draw lands, and if we don't, things just are not going to go our way. So this hand has not been working out. We've probably already stayed on it too long, and it's probably going to be an issue. A Wheel of Fortune. Hey, there's stuff. Lands and card draw. Yeah, those are the things that we need. Those are the things that we need. Play the Godless Shrine untapped. Play this Soul Ring. Maybe a few more lands than we needed, but yeah, we do got to get those going at some point. So yeah, that looks like our turn. We'll go ahead and pass. D-Manny's going to get wild here in a second, as all of his Enchantments, I think, are about to come back. Phyrexian Arena. So if we could have held on for like, what, maybe 2 more turns? Well, probably 1 more turn. I think this would have been our next draw. If we could hit that, then that would get us into the lands. And then we'd still be able to kind of work with the hand that we've had. But because there's a lot of powerful cards in there, but we just didn't get to the mana production that we need. All of our stuff's going to get exiled, though. That is not ideal. Powerful cards going down. We still have a Ruinous Ultimatum and an Austere Command to deal with mass enchantments, though. Exile target permanent and opponent controls. That's going to be this Beastmaster Ascension. Thankfully, none of our stuff. With all these enchantments coming in, that gives Rexage a lot of targets that aren't ours, thankfully. And Liliana's Contract. Draw 4 cards, lose 4 life. Bunch of abilities on the stack. Graveyards get exiled. D-Man is going to draw 4 cards. It's going to be some milling, some exiling, some putting counters. Ooh, the board wipe is back. Watch out for the board wipe. And there's a Phyrexian Arena trigger. Oh, when did all this happen? Oh, wow. There's the board wipe, so all the creatures getting blown up again. Treasure Nabber, not gonna make it. And unfortunately, was hoping to borrow this Soul Ring. Ooh, non-creature spells your opponent's cost. Cast 2 more to cast. That is a bit. Volatile Exploration Landfall. D-Man, he's got 12 cards in hand. That's a lot. If I had thought more about the enchantments coming back and the scriptures going off again, probably could have held off on the route. I don't know what we would have done otherwise, though, because we just, like, didn't have a lot going. Oh, God, that's a Doomwake. Oh, that's Doomwake Giant? Okay. I thought it was the other one, the discard one. The discard one is backbreaking. Doomwake Giant kills a Toski is what it does, so that's kind of cool. It'll finally slow fish down. Ooh, we have a high market in hand, which means we can cast our commander and just sacrifice it as needed. That's helpful. It's very helpful. Rakdos Signet. Sad about our Treasure Nabber not being able to steal some artifacts right here. Could have used that extra mana. Blind Obedience. Ugh. Haste's going to be out of the question. Doomwake Giant, Agent of Erebos. There may not be enough card draw left in this deck. Got a Cavalier Flame that we can cycle. Yeah. Wheel of Fortune's down. Read the Bones. We got a Siphon Mind. Siphon Mind. Other than that, though, I think it's going to be a little rough. D-Manny's saying, oh, I didn't know that's how a saga works with Suspend. Yeah, me either, honestly. For the most part, I don't think that's been a thing before the new card that just got printed. So, Mango cracks a Blighted Woodland. That's a fairly passive play for all the things that just happened. Summoner's Pact. Uh-oh. What are we getting? Elder Gargaroth. No big deal. The creature that does everything. Mosswort Bridge. Hideaway. Yep. Oh, I think the Elspeth Conquers Death. Probably jamming our opponents up a little bit. This might be a good turn to just cast our commander. Yeah, I think that, yeah, especially with the high market. I like that. There's an Elder Gargaroth. Comes in tapped. Back to our turn. Another land. Did not need that. Play the high market. Cast our commander. Actually, gotta hope that we have enough colored mana. I think we do, but yeah, we do. And we'll have just enough to play the Read the Bones. So, Piru coming in tapped. Play the Read the Bones. Oh, never mind. It costs 2 extra. Yep, can't afford that. We can cycle this Triome, though. Keeper of the Accord, that's a card we need to get into play very badly. And it needs to stay in play also. That's going to be like a key element. If we can get like 1 trip across the table with it, 2 green decks, everyone has more lands than us at this point. This can get us caught up, so we need to really make sure we get this in and keep it alive, at least for a little while. Fish saying they forgot Bane of Progress. Yep. Bad time to do that. Can return target creature or planeswalker. Gonna return and Johnny's Chosen. Yep. Exiling all graveyards once again. Making some zombies. Volatile Exploration. Sigil of the Empty Throne. Yep. Pretty good in that deck. Extort. They extort. Constellation Doomwake Giant. Johnny's Chosen. Agent of Erebos. Oh, this is gonna take so long to keep resolving all of these. Mango has feelings. Gonna Cross and Grip the Sigil of the Empty Throne. It's a start. Doomwake Giant trigger. Ugh, Smothering Tithe. Wish he held on to that Cross and Grip with Extort. You know, I'd prefer not to sack our Piru because we can send in 7 in the air. Doesn't kill him, but gets that life total moving in the direction we want it to go. It's going to attack Mango. Send in only the 3/3. I probably would have sent the 4/6. We need to find our Bajuka Bog. Get rid of D-Manny's graveyard, especially while the board wipe one is in there. You got 26 cards in graveyard. That would be a pretty good Bajuka Bog. Smothering Tithe. He's paying. Nope, he's going to Barrier Breach. Love it. Smothering Tithe, Blind Obedience, and Phyrexian Arena taking him down a notch. Barrier Breach, so good. there are almost always 3 enchantments worth exiling. When you look at like standard commander deck construction, the average deck, and I'm generalizing here, is going to have 5 to 10 enchantments, and like 4 or 5 of them are probably really nasty. Some decks might only have like 2 or 3, but the 2 or 3 that they have are probably super nasty. So yeah, Barrier Breach, really good. He could have also exiled this, which I might have done. It's a Wrath of God. Okie dokie. Looks like we're not going to get a whole lot done with our commander here. Back to the command zone. We gain no life. But now that the board wipe went off, that means there's going to be a better chance of the Keeper of the Accord sticking around for a little bit. And I do like that. You know, I always wanted to build an Oros deck, Oros the Avenger, and I never did. And now that I'm thinking about it, Piru is very similar to Oros. 3 visits for opponent. Summoner's Pact, search for tomorrow. Fish going to wisely pay for the Summoner's Pact. Fertile Footsteps, yep. Throne of Eldraine really had a cool feel to it. I think I've talked about it before, but really wish there was a second set to that block because I liked what was going on in Throne of Eldraine. It was a nice departure from like all the Eldrazi stuff. Like the feel and the flavor of the cards I really liked. The fairy tale thing I feel like kind of gets back to like almost how Magic kind of started in that, you know, high fantasy sort of realm. So that was cool stuff. Oh god, Pier's Whim. What have we given up on the Signet? Sacrifice an artifact or enchantment they control. Yup. Losing some mana production. This is a good card. I need to run this more. They lose resources while you gain resources. Yeah, sacrifice our Boros Signet. Makes me sad. D-Manny sacrifices a Liliana's contract. I guess he can bring it back. So that's not the end of the world for him, but... There's a Reanimate. Any cool creatures in the graveyard? There's an Elder Gargaroth. That's a cool creature. I'd reanimate an Elder Gargaroth. Can't give it haste currently, though. It's not great. How much mana do we have? We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, possibly 12 with the Sacred Foundry. 4 for that. 7. That's going to be 6. It would technically be 5. 5, 9, 12? Yeah, let's go. Let's get the Keeper of the Accord. Reanimate the Elder Gargaroth. If we can get that thing to stick, it'll be very good. Even drawing 1 card for us would be a big deal, I think. We have to Read the Bones, I know, but if we can get like repeatable draw, you know, if we get like 2 or 3 cards out of this, then we can get back into this game advantage-wise in combination with the Keeper of the Accord. We've got an Elder Gargaroth, and I think this is a good turn to get the Skyclave Relic into play if we can afford this. We'll tap the High Market and then get the Nomad Outpost in since it comes in tapped. I just hope that, like, by itself, Keeper of the Accord wouldn't warrant a board wipe. Keeper of the Accord, Elder Gargaroth might. So we'll play our tap land and we'll pass like that. That's the one thing that I worry about a little bit, is that we may have enticed a board wipe and really want this Keeper to stick. If this Keeper can make it back to our turn, that is so many lands out of our deck that we need to pull out of our deck and get onto the battlefield. Luckily, opponents all have to rebuild, so like when you're trying to rebuild, generally that kind of cuts your mana, makes it harder to play board wipes. There's a Dockside. Probably not as... No, we have a bunch of artifacts. That's going to be a lot of mana. 8 treasures. Ugh. Just recast that entire hand. He's so many cards ahead of the rest of us. 46 cards left in library, 7 cards in hand, like 30 in the graveyard. Hammer of Perforos is a card. Interesting in that there's not a lot of creatures in the deck, although he can cast Ghen with haste. Yeah, that's the thing that he can do. Now he can just keep getting stuff back. Particularly that board wipe one. That board wipe one's scary for us. He can get it back at like the end step, and then on his upkeep, it'll blow up everything again. It's a hard thing to deal with. Again, back to play. 8 treasures with haste, plus a Signet. Still 9 mana. Can activate Ghen. What are they going to sacrifice? They're going to bring back Elspeth Conquers Death. I'm sure I'm not going to like this. Going for the Elder Gargaroth. Yeah, I did want that. In this exact second, the Keeper of the Accord is still alive, and that's the one that I really want. Whip of Erebos. Just about out of mana, though. And some Lightning Greaves. End step, Keeper of the Accord trigger. Token in a land, grab a Plains. Shalai into play. Oh, is this Plains only? It is Plains only. There's only so many Plains in the deck. Has to be a basic Plains too. There's only so many of those, but still, even if we get the 3 is still a huge jump in mana, especially in 1 turn cycle. It's also, that improves our odds of not drawing a land. 3 cards is a somewhat impactful amount of deck thinning as opposed to like 1 off of a fetch land. End step, Keeper of the Accord, get a Plains. Search for tomorrow coming in. Wolfrider Elemental kicked 9 times. It's pretty good. Kind of need the haste though. It's a bunch of 2/2s. We'll probably want to get our commander in to leave up a board wipe in case we need it. End step, Keeper of the Accord. This is probably the best Keeper of the Accord I've ever played. It tends to die. Like if you play it early, it's usually going to get caught up in a board wipe somewhere. But even early, if you get 1 land out of it, it's very reasonable. If you get 2, that's fantastic. That's a Sun Titan. Sun Titan is not overly helpful given that the graveyards have been exiled a million times. That being the case, let's get our commander back. Whew. Our commander is expensive. Leave up the high market. Cast Read the Bones. And we need to find some gas with this Read the Bones. Scry 2. Brash Taunter is gas. Treasonous Ogre is not. Put that on the bottom. Taunter on top. There's an Iroas. Iroas is also cool. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we go 5, we can play a Sacred Foundry untapped and then play a Brash Taunter and leave up a high market. And when the time suits us, we pull the trigger on this little thing and have a pretty good time. We can attack. We'll attack D-Manny. He'll block 1. Non-creature spells cost 2 more to cast. Gross. So last turn cycle was significant because Keeper of the Accord found us 3 lands, and that's huge. To jump 3 lands in 1 turn cycle is a massive amount, and the fact that you do it on 4 mana is pretty mana efficient. Once you meet that condition, this card is really efficient. One of the things it needs is time. It needs the time to be able to stay in play. Search your library for a non-legendary card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. Oh right, that's the new Entomb. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Let's see how bad it's gonna get. Oh, it's an Underworld Breach. Yeah, now we get crushed. This should be terrible. Although, yeah, gonna Ghen for the Underworld Breach. We'll have to exile stuff though, but it's not that big of a drawback. Yeah, here comes the Dockside. It's gonna get a lot of mana out of this. 7 treasures. I should have put Aetherflux Reservoir in this deck because we're poised to gain a lot of life. That's probably the way that I would do this. I'd probably go for Bolas Citadel combo with this commander and Aetherflux. That also solves a card advantage problem that we have in this deck too. There's a Mana Geyser, cool. So they have like probably near infinite red mana. 32 red mana. Wow. They've got 8 other colors of mana. One thing we got to watch out for is like if we blow this up, this dies, it goes back to the graveyard, and then they can do it again. They can get more treasures. This turn is going to be hard to survive. That's a Cackle with power, so we're just all going to die, is what's going to happen. And then if we don't, we die again. They just cast it again. Mango's got something. He's going to make a 1/1. Yep, that's annoying. That is annoying. So I guess we sacrifice our thing. 7 damage to each non-legendary creature. Brash Taunter. Fight D-Man, you shoot him in the face. I really wish I put Deflecting Swat in the deck, because that would have been fantastic. We go up to 137. I mean, that's a lot. Now, with Underworld Breach, we could have popped the... Actually, no. Could we have? No. There was no way to know that he was getting Underworld Breach and us having the time to activate to blow up Ghen before he activated it. But the Mana Geyser is just going to take him home. It's so much mana. He's getting 32 every time. Yeah, now he's up to 51. Yeah, graveyard removal. Graveyard removal. I need to run more of it. I was looking at that too. Yep, Mana Geyser again. 84. We don't need to see it. It's going to take him a long time to click through 80 mana. Yep. Yeah, the problem here more than anything was I didn't have a great vision going into what I wanted this deck to be. That's really the big thing more than anything else. I mean, our opening hand... Like, we have 10 5-drops in the deck. That's a little bit, but the deck actually tapers off nicely. We just drew all of our 5-drops and couldn't find lands like we needed in our Armillary Sphere so incredibly badly. If we caught an Armillary Sphere, like, early in there, then that hand becomes a lot better, and we don't have to wheel, and then we can start playing those powerful things. And, like, you know, if Gratuitous Violence is in play, then you start thinking about the fact that, like, you can burn people out and stuff like that. But, yeah... I didn't like what I had going on this game, and here's why. Right now, it's kind of like a control deck, except I didn't have a great finishing plan in mind. So typically when you play control now, it's going to be a combo deck. So what I would do is I would add Bolas Citadel, Aetherflux Reservoir. If we had an Aetherflux in play, we could have shot him in response to stuff. Divining Top. Yeah, I'd probably do the Exquisite Blood combo also. I saw that one when I was looking earlier. I'm not the biggest fan of that combo, but... I think for this deck it makes sense. So whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Yeah, that would have been another way to just finish it out right there. And then I think Veto does a similar thing also. Yeah, whenever you gain life, so you gain a ton of life off this thing. Okay, we need to cut some stuff. Basilisk Collar, I had different plans for that. Originally I was going to have more of like an Inferno Titan tribal kind of thing, and then I just kind of got away from that as I was building. Treasonous Ogre was something I was just trying to test out. I'd like to get a look at that. This probably isn't the right deck for it. What can we cut? Thrilling Encore is a bit expensive. Cavalier Dawn is nice because it can get a stuff back. We'll keep that one. Cavalier of Flame, we can live without it, I think. Need to get rid of a 5-drop anyway. Given that this is like a combo deck now, we can probably live without Aurelia. Gisela is still nice. Honestly, do we need a Magma Quake? Because like you're not going to get to your commander super early, so it's not going to be like a great early board wipe. It takes a second to get to that. We have Chain Reaction, we have Rout. Get rid of the Skyclave. Skyclave Apparition's kind of cool. I don't know. Because there's a lot of Reanimate stuff. Initially, I thought about doing some sort of like Sacrifice, ETB, Reanimate thing. Which is another thing you could look at. But yeah, Skyclave is cool. We'll cut it, though. We need to get rid of a 3-drop. Need to cut a card altogether. So this one's interesting because it can make a copy of Piru immediately. But I wonder if there's better ways to do that. Curious. We can get rid of Cauldron of Souls. I think we've decreased the creature count somewhat significantly now. I did get rid of some tutors earlier just because I was trying to play more fun, new cards and stuff. So you'll probably want to add some tutors back in. Yeah, we can get rid of this Treasure Nabber, I think. I really want an expedition map to make sure that you have high market in play. Get an expedition map. Even an expedition map would have helped at some point in our early turns. Maybe we can live without Burnt Offering. I thought it'd be cute, but like this thing comes in so late anyway that, it is the big play. So, I don't know. I think I really want an Armillary Sphere. Make sure we don't get stuck on lands again. We could also just use more regular card draw. Pretty heavy on 3-drops, honestly, but we have room for a 4-drop. We'll go for an Ancient Craving. I think I also want a Reconstruct History. It's just a really helpful card to have, especially if you're trying to do combos. Iroas isn't really going to be needed for this version of the deck anymore. So this is going to be a much better version of the deck than what I played during the game. It's got a clearer picture to victory, which is combo. It's going to be a combo finish. And that was kind of the big thing we were lacking this game. If I just had greater vision of what I wanted to do going in, then I think the deck would have performed more admirably. But anyway, my next thought is to like maybe check out a Gods version or some sort of combat version of Piru. I think that would be a cool way to go with it as well if you're not really into the combo side of things. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Commander Replay t-shirts, available in orange and colors beside orange. Hey guys, help support me and save 15% on singles by using the promo code REPLAY at mothershipatx.com.